Episode 56, Chef Fit Podcast. Where are you at? 5 biggest mistakes that I see chefs make with lifestyle. Hope we're good. I hope we're well. Before we dive in, before we get an update from yours truly and Petey here, like the goddamn video. Give us a subscribe.
Give her a
Get
like.
on.
That's it.
Get in there. Just press the button, tap it, do whatever you need to do. But show a bit of support to the podcast, guys. I'll nail this at the start. Your support is always greatly appreciated. And yeah, whatever platform you're listening to it on, review it, like it, thumbs up that shit, share it potentially. And yeah, Bob's your uncle, Mary's your auntie. Anyway, Petey, what's the crack? You're alive there. Boom.
Yeah, just about. I only noticed, as you were saying, right, 3, 2, 1, go, that I had a bedhead. I went to lie down at 6 o'clock and woke up at like 20 to 9.
The old Ben. What's that? The Ben Stiller from Meet the Parents, and he's got the old. I think her looks grand, man. It does look grand.
Hey, Leo, the headset's holding her down.
You know it.
How are you getting on? How was your week?
Good. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, yourself, we're obviously still in, I suppose it's easing up over here now, the old lockdown. I think it'd probably be another 2 weeks, 3 weeks of kind of life is in isolation, but it's fucking, I think it's funny how adaptable you can be and how adaptable humans are.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, there's
no slowdown in it here now.
No, it's just still fucked.
Not slowing down. The virus itself has been handled very well.
Yeah.
But there's no sign of shit going back to normal for a good while.
Sure, all public gatherings for 2020 have been fucking scrapped more or less until the end of the year. Like all music festivals, all fucking, like going to, I don't know.
Killian was supposed to be going to Forbidden Fruit and he had his ticket. That was his first gig.
Really? Yeah.
Then and he got a scholarship to go to the Gaeltacht, which we would never been able to afford to send him to Gaeltacht. He got a 2-week scholarship to go for it. NAF cancelled, and then he doesn't give a bleep because also what else got cancelled? They had on this summer.
School or what?
The junior cert. So he'll take that every day.
What are they gonna do with that? What do you like? The kid like. When did they finish? When did they get taken out of school? Start of March, was it? Halfway through March?
Yeah, it was in March, but like the junior cert is scrapped, right? So they're just not going to do the junior cert this year.
That's school exams, by the way, folks.
Yeah, it's when you're halfway through secondary school. And they've been hemming and hawing about getting rid of the leaving cert for the last 10 years, and they've been phasing it out for the last 5 years doing CBA, classroom based assessments. So this might just be, that could be the end of it. That could be the end of the junior cert altogether, yeah.
Oh,
what's the junior cert for?
A load of absolute bollocks. Preparing you for the leaving cert. What?
What is school anyway? Yeah. So the leaving cert will be done when they go back. So 5th year will be paused until the leaving cert is gone, or till the leaving cert is done. So when that will change, that will roll on to the start of the new college year for people going into their first year in college, obviously, because there has to be time for them to go in. They have to be able to prepare for it. I don't know how they actually can do it because of, like, you can't say, right, school's back tomorrow, you have your leaving cert in 2 weeks. Like, Jesus Christ, we had 3 months before. Like, oh yeah, well, we sent you stuff. You know what I mean? There'd be too much. There'd be too many parameters for people to have excuses. Very valid excuses for not getting their 600 points or whatever.
Yeah, totally. That's so fucking squirrely, man. That's so squirrely. You could only imagine. You imagine finishing school if you're in 6th year again or whatever it is, the equivalent elsewhere. When you're coming to your last school and you're doing last exams, pal, another fucking 3 to 5 months. You'll have to wait. Like that thing you've been waiting to do for the past 2 years. Nah. You're going to have to do that in the middle of the summer or the end of the summer.
But imagine being 16 and you don't have to do the junior cert. How lit would that summer be, man?
Stop.
He's buzzing.
Stop. They've cancelled his life and he's chuffed. He's delighted about it. Good shit. right?
Go, let's roll.
5 biggest mistakes that I see. I love a list. Love a good list. I think anyone likes a good list. Your number a few
All
things.
chefs love a good list.
Stop. Can't beat a good list. And today is no different, folks. We got a good list for you. You know, for me, one of the best things that you can do, it's very easy for us to kind of say, this is what you should do, which we kind of will here. But I think another effective way of looking at things is avoiding what you shouldn't do. You know, avoiding mistakes and learning from other people's mistakes or learning from your own mistakes. And for me, since we started Chef Fit, and this is since I've started coaching in general, but since Chef Fit started, you know, I've seen a lot of chefs come and go. You know, Peter from day one went through the fucking, you know, he went into the trenches and he's come out of it the other end. There's a lot of chefs that potentially are unable to do that. And there's some very, very key things in his process, or any chef that's been successful in making that lifestyle change. It's for something very specific that they've done and how they operate versus a lot of chefs who come in and it's, you know, oh, well, I want to do this. And then they do it for a bit and then they stop and then they go back to square one. And they're constantly in this cycle of just chasing their fucking tail. All of us have been there at some period of time where we've kind of just been frustrated with our own, you know, whatever it is, whether we've been lacking confidence and we're carrying a gut around with us, or we've got fuck all energy and we're sick of eating shite and we're just stuck in some really bad habits. Maybe your mental health is under pressure, whatever whatever the reason for doing it is, there's always going to be a period where you try something and it just doesn't work and you get fed up and you're like, why the fuck is this not working for me? With that in mind, these are the 5 big things that I would identify. If you can stop yourself falling into these traps, then potentially you're maximizing your chance of being successful. So the first bit, the biggest one, and I'll start, they're not necessarily in order, but we'll start.
Before you get into it, could I say to the listeners that Cam has spoken to more chefs than any chef listening to this podcast?
Facts. Fuck me, a lot of conversations. Geez, if I had to put a number on that, that's pretty mad. So for anyone that doesn't know, like let's say if you applied to join Chef Fit, for example, this is outside the videos, outside the fucking posts and the emails and the shit that I'd be sending out. You know, if someone applies to join Chef Fit, we have a free consultation in place where you can, you know, it's kind of your chance for me to objectively look at your situation, try and give you some clarity on where your problems are coming from and where they're stemming from and what you can do to overcome them, setting some specific goals, and then just explaining, you know, how Chef Fit would work and how I would adapt it to their needs and put the plan together more or less, so there's clarity coming out of the call. Like, those conversations are an hour long, and I've had probably the guts of about 500 of them, I'd say, easily 500 of them, which is pretty fucking, you know, and that's in a year and a half. So yeah, through that process, obviously I see a lot of patterns rock up. I see, you know, people fall into some pitfalls and some people being able to overcome them. So like the biggest one that I could say to anyone, and this is something that I communicate from day fucking one to anyone that joins Chef Fit, is this mistake is you have an instant gratification mindset. That's the biggest mistake. Now, this is one of those things that every one of us kind of naturally has. Humans are not programmed to want delayed gratification. So I'll decompartmentalize this for a second. Instant gratification. You do something that requires very little effort and very little time, yet you're expecting a big result. That's what instant gratification means, okay? Give you an example of instant gratification. Check my phone. Okay, cool. I see the little Instagram icon pop up there. Grand. Jesus, someone must have liked my shit. Okay, right. Scroll down. Boom. Tonto has mentioned you in a story. Ooh, Jesus Christ. And then I go in, and then I've been tagged in a few bits and pieces. Check my likes. Fuck, load of new followers. Load of new followers there, folks. This is instant gratification in action. You know what I mean? That's instant gratification in action. Our brains then get addicted to that mechanism, okay? It's like having I would call it a dopamine addiction. Yeah, a dopamine addiction. I spoke about it before. your brain doesn't really process these decisions as if this is good for me, this is bad for me. It just goes, hey, I want a bit of dopamine. Like, where's that going to be? Okay, cool. Well, social media is one of the biggest sources of dopamine for us, or it's at night and, you're watching TV or scrolling through YouTube instead of reading a book. That's looking for dopamine. We're looking for the instant fix for our brain. Yeah, that's what we're programmed to do. And everything about society these days is based in getting things to you quicker and more efficiently. Netflix is a great example. You use Netflix, you have it on your fucking telly, you have a massive library of shit. 15, 20 years ago, how did you used to suss out what to watch? Where you had to fucking trust what was on, Sky or fucking Channel 4 or Film 4. And before that, it was like you had to go to the cinema, you had to have a VCR, you had to go down to Blockbusters or whatever, do you remember Sharpbusters? Or what the fuck was it called?
Extravision.
Stop. Lethal. You
Good
had to, everything about it. Mad. I used to be a black belt and trading in fucking old games. You'd be coming in.
Yeah, I was talking about that 2 days ago with the kids. I was like, oh, what, my disc is scratched. Well, I bring it back and blah blah blah. And I was like, do you know what I used to do? If I bought a game and the disc got scratched, because back then you played your games to death, and you buy a game, and then you scratch it like 3 months later. So you go down to Extravision, you rent it out. You go outside, you walk around for 2 minutes, and you go back in and go, here, your scratched disc in it. Here, that scratch. Can I get another one? You give them the scratch one, and you're in.
Such a fucking
brilliant.
Down to an art. I remember disappointed. Like, I bring in a game
walking out twisting the mustache, going,
yeah, exactly. Thinking I'd fucking nailed it. Bring in a game, I'll give you $250 for that. I was like, what are you talking about, Paul? Fucking go on, give us $250 there for a fucking brand new game. Fuck's sake. So anyway, that's the but like, in comparison, I used to have to do that to get a hold of some decent games, or I'd have to trade shit in to get better games. Nowadays, you just fucking download the shit. You don't even trade stuff in. Well, maybe you can trade stuff in, but it's not the same.
You can't trade them in CEX. It's not the same. It's not the same. Remember, like, when I started working as a chef, one of the things I did every Thursday was I bought a new game. So I'd buy a game, hockey the campaign over for a week, and then bring it back on Thursday, trade it in for, buy a game for 50, trade it in for 15 a few days later, and then get the next game.
Fuck. It's the exact same process.
And then Call of Duty came along, and you buy one game a year.
Yep, and then you're buried for years. Yeah, pretty much.
Years.
So if we think about that process, though, what we're trying to explain on that tangent is that things used to take a little bit more time and effort. And I think nowadays we're so conditioned for everything to be easy. Like, our phones have made, like, fucking, you used to have to hail a taxi, now you got Uber. You used to have to call up the Chinese takeaway, now you got Uber Eats. Everything about life has kind of been streamlined and delivered in a more efficient, quicker way. This conditions us to get things quickly and think that everything comes easy and quick when it doesn't. So the fitness industry relies on this. So anybody that kind of looks into a lifestyle change, the fitness industry can kind of come across as this thing. It's like, what the fuck? It's so alien, especially to chefs. It seems like an alien thing. But we're conditioned to want things and think that we can get everything quick and easy. However, a lifestyle change does not come quick and easy. And you'll believe the fitness industry relies on that. So they'll sell you supplements that get you to, we found some secret ingredient in the fucking Amazonian rainforest that torches body fat off your stomach and off your whatever. Like, they have to come up with shit like this, and they have to sell it to people in a little packaged way, but it doesn't work. Everything about, fucking 6-minute abs, or do this fucking challenge and drop.
The pop-ups on YouTube videos, it's like do these 3 workouts to get shredded.
Fact.
You see that more than you see bullshit more than sense everywhere you go.
Yeah. Fact, because there was some
instant gratification. Chefs are so used to that, because when they it's chefs don't just go and do 10 plates and go, right, that's 10 plates done. With each plate, it's being done properly. Every single plate is being done properly, and there's a meticulous to it at most levels, that when you do that plate, you do get a kick. You get your hit, as you were saying. You get a dopamine kick, because if you didn't have that, how would you be able to do 200 of the same thing every night? So chefs love that, and that gives them their competitive edge as well.
Totally, 100%.
It wouldn't surprise me to hear that chefs would fall for instant gratification more than, say, a retail worker, for example.
Totally. And I suppose tying it in, that this is a human nature thing. And, I don't think it's specific to chefs who are, I don't think chefs are massively. I think the fact that a chef has the lifestyle that they have, and they have the background that they have, that lifestyle and fitness is kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum. So when they're looking into doing something, it's a bit alien to them. And I think when something is unfamiliar to you, or you're not really particularly aware of what it is and what it's going to take, you'll kind of come at it with that instant gratification mindset naturally. Like all the shit.
Confirm.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll go for a fucking diet, and you'll be like, well, I need to do something. So you'll do a diet, but not necessarily being aware that diet's unsustainable for you, which I'll talk about later. Or going to the gym every single day for fucking 2 or 3 hours isn't really sustainable. Like, because you're unaware of exactly what it's going to take, the instant gratification takes over. And if I just go hell for leather at something, hopefully it'll work out. But the reality is, you go hell for leather on the wrong things, sometimes in the wrong amounts, and you'll do it for a week and you'll stop. The biggest thing that I could say to all of you is that you need to stop viewing lifestyle as a toy that you pick up and play with when you feel like shit. So for all of us have had this situation pop up. We experience pain in our life, and sometimes a healthy lifestyle is a way of sorting that out and feeling better about the situation. I've been feeling, mentally I've been struggling, or I put on a bit of weight and I'm really struggling with that confidence, or my energy's dog shit, and then you try and make that change. Like you're feeling like shite, and you're going, okay, well, fuck that, I'm going to do this. And then you do it for a week or two. And then as soon as you're not feeling like crap anymore, you go back to your old ways. Like, that's a cycle, and that's a mindset of instant gratification. The way to overcome that mistake, okay, because if you don't overcome it, you're going to continually do things for short amounts of time, not achieve your goals, and go back to square one, okay? And that's a cycle of like, oh, fuck, well, it's work, and I'm a chef, and it doesn't work for me. And you come up with all of these stories in your head that aren't necessarily true. And the biggest thing you can adopt here is that you have to have I call it a blue pill mindset, where you're playing the long game. Lifestyle is not a toy. Lifestyle is a lifestyle. It's a way of life. And you can't adopt a lifestyle for a short amount of time and think it's going to fix everything, because it's not. You need to be committed to that lifestyle change for long periods of time. And you mightn't realize that at the start. You might not realize that at the start, but you've got to have that in place. Like, when you start off in something, if you've got good reasons for doing it, you need to have the mindset of sticking with it. The only thing that I would consider myself half decent at, or what Chef has been half decent at, is being able to communicate that to chefs and try and create a culture and, just principles on how you operate and how you need to think, and the mindset required to sustain your efforts. Because, like, I could talk till I'm blue in the face about training and different ways of fucking altering nutrition and all of these things, but they're just tactics to get a result. But if you don't back those tactics with the correct mindset of, well, I'm in this for the long haul, I'm embracing this lifestyle change, this is just how I live my life now. Like, if you don't have that mentality, then there's a very good chance that you're not going to keep up and do the things that you're supposed to do for a long enough period of time. So the biggest mistake that you can possibly make is being instantly gratified. You need to have delayed gratification. Like, I'm stringing weeks and weeks, if not months and months together, of discipline and doing my sessions and eating good food. It doesn't have to be perfect, but overall it needs to be good in terms of exercise and good in terms of nutrition and just generally organizing yourself. Like, you need to be committed to that for a long enough period of time, and you can't let yourself off the hook after a week or two just because you're not feeling good anymore. Like, commitment and discipline is basically about doing the thing you said you would do long after the feeling that you had when you said it is gone. All of us get motivated and we say we're going to do something. I'm going to go and fucking, okay, well, I'm going to start fucking running every day. I'm going to start doing this and doing that. You have all the best intentions in the world. You've all the best intentions in the world. But, nearly forgot my point there. But the key thing is that once you've said that, it's like, are you committed to maintaining that level of effort, even when you're not feeling like it? That's key. That's key. And most people won't do that. Okay. But if you're willing to do it, you'll push through things that you'll achieve massive things. Peter's a good example. A lot of the chefs you see are great examples. Anyone that's made
that's true. That's true accountability though as well. That's where that is absolutely 100% the reason why I stopped. I went from being the person that tries everything for a while, has a great kick out of it, and then as soon as I hit a blip, it's gone. Yeah. And with Chef Fit, when I had great success, I saw other people that had great success, and now that we're a couple of years in, other chefs come in at the start and they see people that are a couple of weeks ahead of them who are having this great success, but they also see people that are a month, 6 months, and a year in the process of following the chef path and nailing down the fundamentals. And then you see then not just the weight loss, you see all the other things that are changing in the other chefs, and then you go, right, it's completely different if you can see it. Do you know what I mean? Instead of just looking at yourself in the mirror going, oh, am I this, am I that? When you say, right, well, he's been doing this for 6 months, I can do that. There's no reason I can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why environment is so key. And I'll talk about this on number 4, but like that whole accountability and being able to model yourself. Modeling is huge. And what modeling means is, like, if you want to do something, go and find someone who's doing it already and model after what they're doing. Like Chef Fit's starting off was just modeling after what I do myself. Then as the chefs start to succeed based on that, then you got, leaders in the group. You got Peters, you got Andy's, you got fucking Gordos. You got these guys who are achieving massive things. And then anyone new coming in, they might have preconceived notions of what to do and how to do it and whatever else they might know. But that is thrown out the window when you see someone who's far exceeded your expectations. And now you're like, fuck, right, I should do what that person's doing, which is positive because that keeps your standards high. So that's the first big one, is avoiding an instant gratification mindset and having a delayed gratification mindset. So you're playing the long game, you're sticking with it for a long enough period of time. The second biggest one that I could say is that, you might have shit goals. That's a big mistake. And I'm going to say every person in their life has set shit goals at some point in the game. We've all done it. New Year's resolutions are probably the most black and white example of this, where, the new year, new year, new me, yeah, and it's gonna be my healthiest year, yeah. I'm gonna get healthy. I'm gonna get fit. Like,
it's called Liverpool syndrome this year.
This year, exactly. It's a fucking good example.
This is my year.
Yeah. Every fucking 15. But it's like, you gotta understand that your goals and the destination you set yourself, like, if you haven't put the time or the effort into setting good goals, or maybe you don't know how, which is fair enough. A lot of people don't know how. But regardless, you'll say things to yourself with good intentions, but the fact that they're not clear cut makes them very unattainable. For example, I want to get fit. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Because that's different for everyone. I know what you're imagining, and you're imagining yourself, I'm fucking able to do a run, or I'm able to go to the gym and I look good and whatever else, but you haven't really clarified what that means. And if I asked you what fitness meant to you and you can't answer me, well, you don't really have a goal there, because that goal is going to be very short-lived because it's not clarified. So let's say, I'll give you a difference. Like, shit goal, I want to get fit. Great goal, I want to run a 5K in 25 minutes in the next 90 days. That's the difference. They're both to do with fitness.
Broke that down for us all. Yeah. When we do our goals, you say to us, specific, targeted numbers and dates. And then, like I said to you, I want to do this, and you said, right, when do you want it done by? I say this. You say, right, split that into 3. There's your month blocks. Split each block into 4. That's your week. Divide that in. Now, this is what you need to do every single week.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is the difference.
specificity is the biggest thing you can take note of when it comes to goals. Get specific. People are not specific enough. Like, I want to get fit is very vague. I want to lose weight is very vague. And because you're so vague about it, you don't even know what you're trying to achieve. You need to have a tangible thing that you're getting after, like tangible, intangible. Tangible is, I'm holding a cup. It's a great cup and it's very tangible. Intangible, I'm holding a mystical cup in my hands. It's like, no, that's a cup. You could see that, you could feel it. That's not it. I'm just saying words. And if you have an intangible goal, well, it's going to be an intangible outcome. You don't know what the fuck you're getting. Whereas if it's tangible, like, I want to lose weight. Well, how much weight do you want to lose? And when do you want to lose it by? And even better, why do you want to lose it? Most people don't go that deep into something. So if you can identify that, and if Chef comes to me, and I'll give you 2 examples. Chef comes to me and I'll say, I'll coach you to lose weight. Okay, well, anyone can do that. Does that go, I'll coach you to lose fucking 30 kilos in the next 6 months? And they'll go, fuck, because I can do that. And it's a tangible outcome. And the 30 kilos in 6 months excites you because you can actually visualize what it is. You know what you look like 30 kilos lighter. 6 months from now, Jesus, that's near the end of the year. That'd be fucking amazing. And it's like, yes, absolutely. You need tangibility. So the process that I go through, try and take the goal that you have in your head and then really clarify what that means. What's the specific outcome? If you want to get fitter, what specifically do you want to be fit at? Like, do you want to be stronger? Do you want to be, cardiovascular fitness? Like, is there specific things that you want to do? Well, I want to be able to run for fucking whatever amount of time. I want to be able to run a 5K without dying. Great. Happy days. Okay, cool. When do you think you want to do that by? Well, I'd like to do it in, 2 months. Great. So now you've got a specific outcome. You want to run a 5K. You want to do it in 2 months. Fucking great. Then why do you want to do that? Well, go ahead.
Where are you now with that goal? It's another, you have a starting point. Yeah.
So having, I think I always say that, it should be realistic, as in it should be within the laws of reality, let's say. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to if you're 23 stone and you're sitting on the couch, like, maybe running a half marathon in a month isn't going to be an option. That's outside the realms of possibility. But maybe getting yourself to a 5K, in the next 2 to 3 months is a reality. So it's just making sure that it's potentially on the cards for you. And having a deep reason for doing something is also massively important. So once you have a specific outcome and you have a deadline for that specific outcome, you need to be clear in your mind on why it's important. Like, I have some chefs that jump on a hot seat with me, which is a one-to-one coaching call in Chef Fit, and they'll be kind of struggling, and we'll put together goals. And it's happened sometimes where chefs have we've put together goals and then we've got it specific as fuck and we got a deadline on it and we've got the plan to get there. But in their mind, they're not clear on why. They don't know why they're doing it. They're just doing it for the sake of doing it. And because they're not clear on why they're doing something, the fire to go and achieve it isn't necessarily there. The fire to achieve it isn't necessarily there. And that's why having a reason why is one of the most important things you can do. For example, Chef Fit is here to impact the industry from the inside out and help change the narrative about chefs and make them the healthiest versions of themselves so they can be the happiest versions of themselves. That's a reason why Chef Fit exists. Whereas if my reason why was, it's just fucking, I just want to kind of, get people a bit fit and make money off it. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't have the same passion for it. You understand? So like the fact that I'm clear on my reasons why has basically been the fire to get up and do something when the feeling of wanting to do anything isn't there. You know what I mean? So again, for me, having a reason why is important. When you have a goal, no matter what it is, specific and having a deadline, but have the fire behind that deadline and that outcome. Why do you want to lose weight? Like, dive deeper into it. I just want to feel a bit better about myself. That doesn't mean fuck all. That doesn't mean anything. Why do you want to lose weight? And if I keep sitting here and I keep asking you why, eventually we're going to strike a fucking vein and we're going to hit a reason that's very deep and could be potentially painful for you. I want to lose weight because I've always been that fat person, and I've always been super self-fucking conscious and, I don't have sex with my partner anymore and I'm really self-conscious about it. And it's something I've had in my head my whole life and I don't want to live my life like that anymore. That's a powerful reason for wanting to lose weight. So to see the difference, it's like I could go, okay, well, I want to feel a bit better about myself. Bullshit. No, you don't. Like, that's just not going to, you're not going to get up on a fucking 6 o'clock in the morning on a rainy day to get up and do something to feel a bit better about yourself. But you will do it to overcome, you know, fucking a whole lifetime worth of pain in relation to your physical state. You will get up and do it then, you know, or I need to save my relationship, or I need to save my fucking life. Like, that's powerful stuff. And it might be painful. That pain drives action. So again, don't go into the shit goal thing. I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. Why do you want to do that? What do you want to do specifically? And when are you going to do it by? So what, when, and why? That's how you set goals. All right. Moving forward from there. Number 3, just doing things with your lifestyle instead of structuring. That's one of the third biggest mistake, because these are all big mistakes. But the third biggest one is just doing instead of structuring. So think about it. Like any one of us, we spoke about this at the start with the instant gratification thing. So you feel like shit, you put something into action, you're like, right, I'm going to start making a change now. But there's no routine to anything. You're just kind of, okay, well, I'll just get up earlier and do a bit of exercise. Or, yeah, I'll just go on my split. There's no specific organization of the time. And you're just doing it based on your own motivation to do it. And as we all say, motivation is finite. It'll run out quick. So that's why you'll do it for a week or two, and then work will start getting busy and you'll get thrown into the shit, or you'll drop the ball on something. And before you know it, within a week, you're back to square one again. The biggest cause of that is lack of structure. So there's a reason within Chef Fit that it's like the structure revolves around moving every day, batch cooking your food for the week, and eating 3 meals a day. You know, like, okay, cool. Once we have that foundation, then it's about having that mise en place mindset of, you know, planning your shit out. I have a diary. I write things down that I want to get done in the day. I write down the times that I'm going to do them. So when I know that I need to exercise and that I need my nutrition nailed in a certain way, and then I'm writing my stuff down in a daily plan, that gives me structure, that gives me routine. If I do that enough times, eventually it's just going to start becoming second nature, or I'm going to wake up at these times, I'm going to take these actions, or I'm going to get on my split, I'm going to take these actions. You only get to that stage where it starts to become habitual. You only get there when you start organizing the time. Okay. For a lot of us, we all do it. We don't organize. It's easier not to plan something. So we'll just kind of wing it and say, all right, well, I'll fucking, you know, I'll just start doing it. I'll just start exercising. You can't sustain your life that way. You need to have it structured. Okay. You need to have it structured. So I'm sure you've done the same thing, Peter. Like, we all have.
Big time. You know? Even recently, without having the access to the gyms and stuff like that, yeah, what I find myself doing, and I see other people doing, and I help myself and I help other people with this one as well, is like, all right, tomorrow is Monday just gone was the perfect example of it. Today was I reacted properly to it. So on Monday I said, right, tomorrow I'm going to do advanced day 1, and I left it at that. I didn't have a plan of when I was going to do it or what I was going to do for my workout. And then it was 3 o'clock in the day and I hadn't got it done. You know what I mean? And I ended up doing it so late, and then I didn't have a proper structure to it. You know, if you say, right, I'm going to go and do some weights, especially now that we don't have the gyms, we have our own bits and bobs. So we have, you know, we have our bands, we have our kettlebells and stuff like that. So you go out, and what you end up doing is, what I caught myself doing the first week was pricking around rather than going, right, this is it. And then I was like, well, I'm not getting that same sweat going and not having the same feeling the next day. Like, do you know what I mean? It was only after a week or two of it that I had the Tuesday morning, my legs were sore, because Tuesday morning follows Monday, and Monday is always, you know, leg day. So if I had it, then for today's workout, it was written down specifically exactly what was going to be done, you know? Yeah. And that was, as you're saying, then that's a structured plan for what was going to go down. And I also knew that I was going to be going to a barbecue in my dad's house as well. So at the time written down, I got up at the time, I planned on getting it done. And through that, I was able to get more done better.
Totally. And that's all down to specificity, you know. And I think with plans, it's like goals. The more specific and the more effort you can put into putting out that goal, the more likely you are to achieve it. With routines, it's the exact same way. So like, there's a little trick that I would play, and you're talking about that structure there within the sessions. So when we start a day, we'll have the best intentions in the world. Right, we're going to train at this time. But if it's not specifically planned out, what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and potentially why you're going to do it, okay? You can always go back to that framework. If you don't have that, that intention will literally go from good to bad, in a very, very short amount of time. Very, very short amount of time. Okay, we're back in. So the specificity makes sure that you actually do get it done. Whereas if you just have an intention to do something, you're not always going to carry it out. And as Peter's saying there, and even with the lockdown, this has been a really, really, really important litmus test, is that, planning and structure and having a bit of routine behind things has never been more important. And it's very, very true. Because if you're just waking up on these days where you're kind of in the gaff and, you're not eating great and the family's there and all of that, you'll find excuses not to do something. You will.
It's easier not to. That's what I was saying last week. It's easier not to do it.
Yeah. It's like, well, the fucking living rooms, the kids are in there, or don't have the floor space, or it's a bit awkward, so you'll find excuses. Whereas if I write down, I'm doing this thing at this time and this is how I'm going to go about it, boom, you're there. Even if it's a case of we weren't on lockdown, the best thing I'll say to a chef when they're organizing things is write down what you're going to do in the gym. Okay, right, I'm going in to do this session. When are you going to the gym? I'm going at 9 o'clock in the morning. How are you getting there? Well, I'm going to drive. Cool. So you're going to the gym to do this at this time and you're driving there. What time do you need to leave at? Well, you need to leave at about 8:30. Your likelihood of doing that has just spiked way up high. Like if you've gone to that effort to plan out accordingly, you're going to do it. You're going to.
So what are you saying? I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. Full stop.
Yeah. If you didn't have that plan, you'd probably come to 8:30. You say, okay, right, well, I'll go with fucking 9 instead of 8:30. And then when you get to 9, you're already finding reasons out of it. You're finding a way out. And then you just don't do it. And that's human nature. Preparation beats willpower. You can't rely on your willpower all the time. And if you're reliant on willpower, you're not going to succeed because it's just not a long-term game that you're playing. You need to have things mapped out specifically so you can get it done because it's clear in your mind what needs to be done. Okay. So that's the big thing. What I would say practically to take away from this, organize your day into a morning routine, an evening routine, and the middle of the day. The middle of the day could be work, it could be something, whatever, but it's important that you have morning routine and that you have evening routine. Morning routine for me, yoga, exercise, meditation, planning out my day. If I always start with that shit, it's always positive because I get that stuff done and whacked out of the way and I don't have to, if I leave my exercise till later in the day, like I just oh, fuck. If I've had a bad day or I'm really tired and I'll get to that session then and I'm like, oh man, fuck this. Whereas if I just bang it out before the day's even happened, that's my morning routine. That works for me, works for a lot of people. Evening routines, like having a structure of winding yourself down and not just staying up really fucking late at night. You're reading a book, you're putting the phone away at this time, for example. Middle of the day, you fit in whatever productive shit you want to do and a bit of relaxation as well, especially in the lockdown times. But you got to structure. Get a diary, write shit down. Plans of the day, times that they're going to be done. Ideally, stack them into routines like morning and evening routines, and that's a fantastic start. So that's number 3. Number 4. The blame game. This is the biggest mistake that I'll see, okay? The blame game. What that means is it's not your fault that you've got all these bad habits and you're in a bad routine with things. It's not your fault that, you're struggling physically and you're struggling mentally. Like we all get it. We've all been there. It's not your fault that that's happened, but it is your responsibility to fix it because no one can fix that for you. No one can step in and just fucking boom, click the finger and all of a sudden you've got your health and your fitness sorted and you've undone all your bad habits and all your bad patterns. Like that doesn't happen overnight, okay? And the only way that you're going to overcome those things is that you own your shit. You own it. Like, let's say you're making a lifestyle change and then you find yourself saying, I don't have time. And then to add to that, I don't have time because of work or because I'm a chef or because of this and that. Those, even though they might be justified, those are all stories that you're making up for yourself, okay? Now, they are justified. Don't get me wrong. But justifying something doesn't do anything for you, okay? Doesn't do fuck all for you. Like, I could justify
not... take responsibility for it and get your shit together.
Yeah.
Blame results and excuses, or blame, reasons and excuses are always there.
Yep.
All the time.
But you can have reasons or you can have results, and that's what we'll say to people. It's like reasons or results. It's your choice. The big problem with the most human beings these days in the world is that everyone's got a fucking soapbox to shout into. You know, everyone's got something to fucking have a pity party about. You got to remove that mindset. I used to feel sorry for myself for working in the service industry. I used to feel sorry for myself, and it's a very poor existence, because you're a fucking victim of your own circumstances. Like, I chose the fucking job that I had at the time, yet I kept blaming it on everyone else. And because I felt shit and I was making bad decisions, well, it's their fucking fault. Because that's the easy thing to do. It's easy to point the finger. It's very difficult to look inward and pull your shit together. You know, it's very difficult. And if you blame your failures on others, you're never going to succeed. You know? And even though it might be justified, and even though you're working more than 9 to 5 and you're fucking hard, you know, you're under more stress and under pressure, get it, 100%, totally get it. But if you don't take responsibility, ultimately you'll blame and you'll make excuses and you'll stop. So the whole idea of what we do is that you don't stop. You can't stop. And how do you not stop? Well, you have to take responsibility. And my mindset is this, that nothing happens in my life unless I do it. And if something doesn't happen in my life, it's either down to something I did or didn't do. You know, like, my success is is mine, and my failures are mine. It's not anyone else's fault. Like, if Chef Fit doesn't work, it's Cameron's fault. End of, bottom line. You know, there's always something. Even if something bad happened, there's always something that I could have done better, or I could have done more of, or I should have fucking got up at this time and done it. There's always something you could do. So if you find yourself saying things like, I don't have time because of work, well, do you have a diary and are you writing a plan down for a day? And if the answer is no, then the problem isn't that you don't have time. You might have less time, but the real problem is, and the only tangible thing that you can do, is you need to start organizing your time. If you started planning better, you'd have more time. You know, even on a day off, it's like the night before, okay, cool, well, I'm going to write this down. I want to get up at this time and do these things. If you don't have that plan, you won't get up early. If you do have that plan, you probably will get up early. That's the difference. You're taking the responsibility and putting it into action yourself. If I don't have energy, okay, cool. Well, I don't have energy because I'm a chef and I'm fucking under stress and I'm pressurized and it's long hours and it's late nights. I get it. But if that's your reason, you're never going to fix that. You're not going to take action and fix it. You know, never say I can't because, or never say I don't know, because you've already debilitated yourself from figuring it out. Anyone that says I don't know, instead have a I'll find out attitude, because there's always an answer to something. And where there's a will, there's a way. If you don't have a will to do something, you're not going to do it. Whereas if there is a will, there is a way to do it. And if you think about in any situation, even if there's no time, there's no energy, cool, there's a way of figuring out to get more time. There's a way of, you know, living your life so you have more energy. Like, there's different ways around those problems. And it's all about owning your shit, taking your responsibility, fuck everything else. You can't affect everything externally, but you can worry about what you're doing. And that's where your focus needs to be. Remove the blame of other things, okay, and take the responsibility. It's a burden to bear. It's difficult. It's not easy, but it's the only way to succeed and thrive. I'm telling you that. And that's not just in lifestyle, that's in life in general. How many people do we know who've kind of been stuck in the same role? I remember working back home, I won't mention where, really, really good fucking restaurant cafe back where I'm from, and I used to work there, and two people on the floor who were about a year or two older than me. And, you know, at the time, this is fucking years ago, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And they were like, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here, and I'm going to do this, and, you know, I'm going to do this with my life, I'm going to do that. I'm so sick of fucking being there. I think when I was back in Ireland the week before I came to Australia, I went for brunch there, took my grandparents there. And those same people that spend all day complaining about how shit work was, how much of a dickhead the boss was, and how much this place ruins their life, they're still there 5 years later. Like, if that's you, work isn't the fucking problem. Honestly, work isn't the problem. Stop complaining and start doing something, because you could change your life if you really took your responsibility to change it, instead of thinking that work is some affliction thrown at you. Remove the pity party, because we all do it, and I did it for a long time, and it stopped me. It was my obstacle for a long time. I had to get out of my own way in order to move forward, so just remove the blame game, guys, and you will be able to move forward. I think the last thing.
Are you saying that I shouldn't be blaming my dad for making me a Leeds supporter? Because listen to this, right? I was very fucking young, right? And one brother was a United supporter, and the other one was an Arsenal supporter. And I was just fucking around. I wasn't even playing football. And he goes, now, son, listen, I need one of my sons to support me with the old Super Leeds. And he gave me a fucking Leeds jersey, right? And you get your first Leeds jersey, you have your dad putting his arm around your shoulder, having a very rare moment, I'm like, yeah, Dad, I'll be a Leeds supporter as well. There's no way the blame could be taken off him for that, Cam. I don't care what you say.
30 years later. God, make it stop. Make it stop. Where are Leeds at these days? Leeds are in the big time.
Yeah, we're running away with it. Away with it. We just have to finish. We have to finish the league, and then we'll be back up in the Prem. But what an arsehole! What an arsehole! Like, he literally guilt tripped me and bought my loyalty
for life.
And now we're here, yeah, and they were like, we won the first division last year. It was the last time before they changed the name to the Premier League,
Yeah.
And they haven't won fucking jack shit since.
No.
Look, they still haven't won, and I'm a grey old man now, and they still haven't won anything.
That's just down to Leeds' losses.
Philip O'Brien Gleeson is taking the blame on this. That's his fault, right? All my mates celebrate winning silverware. Even Man City supporters. Do you know what I mean?
You never made the choice. You're just loyal to the end. There was no when Leeds fucking got relegated years ago, or they went bankrupt, what was that, fucking 15 years ago or whatever, you didn't ever consider making a jump, I'll jump on the Chelsea buzz here or something?
No way.
That's fucking gas.
Integrity. You're nothing without integrity, even with a shit football team.
Classic. The last mistake. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Bullshit. Go on.
Leeds. So the last mistake is nutrition, because we haven't dived into that. So the last mistake is that chefs will, when they're trying to make the change, when lifestyle, whether that's to lose weight, be more disciplined, structure life, sort themselves out, whatever, they pick an unsustainable way of eating by going to an extreme diet. So you'll go to
do they pick it, or do they end up having it?
I think I think it's just default. I think this is the majority of the world, that we're kind of conditioned to, because there's so much shit thrown out there about lifestyle and training and nutrition. Everything is made to seem so complicated. I'm very simple-minded when it comes to shit like this. It's very fucking simple. Preparation beats willpower. So when it comes to nutrition, is there a way that I can make healthy food? We all kind of know what I mean by healthy. Healthy means it's not stodgy shit and it's probably got greens in it. Okay? That's what I mean by healthy, right? Everyone knows what that means. Is there a way that I can prepare healthy food ahead of time? That's number one. Number two, is there a consistent structure on a daily basis that I can follow? For me and the chefs, it's 3 meals a day. Okay? Can't fuck it up. 3 meals a day. And if you miss a meal, it's not the end of the world as long as the other 2 are good. That's number 2. Number 3 is not being a dickhead with your portions. Okay? Looking at your plate and going, I'm being an arsehole here. We all know that. And people use diets and loopholes to fucking, I'm doing the Atkins diet, so I'm not eating carbs, so I can eat as much shit as I want when it comes to meat. So you'll eat about 3 kilos of sausage, and it's just that mindset of, again, it goes back to responsibility. Like that mindset of like, oh, well, fucking the diet says you can eat this. It's like, stop being a fucking child, you know? Like you don't have to keep looking for a way out or looking for substitutions. It's the 80-20 rule. Like when you start off, preparation, structured when you're going to eat your meals and how many you're going to eat a day, not being a dick with your portions. It's like that is a sustainable way of eating, because you could still slot in the odd day a week where you're eating a bit of shit or you're having a drink or whatever, you're letting yourself off the hook. But outside of that, you're following a solid structure. And the other thing about not being so extreme, it's like most diets won't recommend what I recommend when it comes, like I say, batch cook, something highly nutritious in a large quantity. You know, and I can't remember the last diet I saw that recommended something that simple. It's always like, okay, well, it's down to the decimal point when it comes to your macros.
Because you can't sell a book for that. That's why. Because they can't sell a book or a supplement or shit for that. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to complicate things. It's like, it's not complicated. It's not complicated. You need a structure that you can replicate over time. Like when it comes to nutrition, days and weeks should kind of look like each other. If there's massive inconsistency, there's probably an issue there, you know? Whereas if your nutrition is quite regimented and it's consistent, that's key. So like for me, the batch cook happens on a Sunday/Monday. We'll have our 3 meals a day up until the weekend, and then I'll have a day on the weekend or 2 days on the weekend where I kind of let myself off the hook. I'm still, for the most part, eating good, but if I'm fucking having a takeaway or a meal out, or me and Ella are having a drink, or I cook dinner in the gaff, you know, I'll let ourselves off the hook and we'll enjoy that when we have it. And then come fucking Sunday/Monday, we're back on it again, you know, and I'm back focused and I'm pushing it again. That's the consistency, and that's the structure allows me that freedom, a balance. Most part disciplined and healthy, little bit of shit here just to fucking live life. Now, if your goal is to lose a lot of weight and you need to pull yourself together and you need to change a lot of habits, then I probably don't recommend having that cheat day. I recommend dialing it in for a long enough period of time till dialed in feels normal, you know. But don't complicate shit when it comes to nutrition. Like preparation, 3 meals a day. Don't be a dick with your portions, and are you eating greens 2 or 3 times a day? That's fucking it. That's it. You know, you can't fuck that up. Focus on bang for your buck stuff in preparation. Chilies, curries, whatever, stews. If you have time, you can cook as you go. But that's as simple as you can make it. The biggest mistake is you're going to go Atkins diet, fasting, ketogenic, all of these things that you don't necessarily understand and aren't sustainable for you and just aren't relevant to where you're at right now. Okay? It's like walking into a fucking dojo as a white belt and trying to train like the black belts. It's like, no, you got to learn before you're throwing a spinning fucking back kick. You got to learn how to stand and keep your balance. You know, it's like nutrition's the same way. Same thing with training. Are you walking in the first day of the gym and doing what the fucking 18-stone bodybuilder in the corner is doing? Or should you just be learning basic techniques? You should be learning basic techniques. You need to go with the stabilizers to start. Stop going so extreme. There's a time and a place for doing some fasting, or maybe cutting down on the carbs for a while or whatever. But you don't need to do that unless you've got the foundation there. And the only way that you get a foundation is that you start with the fucking basics. Prep, certain amount of meals per day, managing the portions, eating plenty of greens, drinking water. I can't state that enough, you know. And if you can adopt that mindset, you'll be able to sustain it, achieve results. I think anyone on Sheffield is a good example of that, is the sustainability of it, that you're able to eat like this for a long enough period of time till it becomes a habit. That's the biggest thing I could say here. Yeah, fucking that's nutrition in a nutshell. Even for yourself, Peter, like you tried shit, I've tried diets, we've all tried shit, you know, that's unsustainable for us, and we kind of end up chasing our tail a little bit, and we give up on it, whatever else. Sustainability is the key, I think.
No diet.
Yeah, exactly.
No diet. And a nutrition plan. As you said, the best nutrition plans are ones that can be followed. So the one that you stick to.
Yep, 100%.
It's literally as simple as that. And you see this week's weekly challenge, it's just the Chef at the moment just flooded with greens. Flooded. And then Ella was saying other changes that come out of it. Everybody is eating so well these last couple of days, especially this week, because, you know, holiday mode, Corona belly. It's going to be a real thing that's going to come out of this. You know what I mean?
Fact, 100%, absolutely 100%. And even I think as we developed into the lockdown, that this week has been a great one. Like it's the nutritional championships in Sheffield at the moment, and it's just like here's the competition. Like a certain amount of points, you're going to get 5 points for getting your batch cook done. You get 3 points every time you post up 3 pictures with 3 portions of greens. And it's just this consistency day after day after day. Once you're aware that you're not going to be eating shit and you're following that structure, it's actually quite easy. It's not difficult. And I've tried diets that are fucking difficult and you just hate life. I enjoy what I'm doing. And you get to a point where you can enjoy things in life as well. Once you've gone from changing bad habits into good habits, then once the good habits are built, well, you can let yourself off the hook the odd time to live life, but you'll always be able to go back. It's like, what's your baseline? What's normal for you? If normal for you is eating shit and picking, then you need to cut that out of your life until it's not there anymore. It's different for everyone. Whereas if you eat well naturally, okay, cool. But you can allow yourself once a week to have yourself off the hook. But if you naturally, if I was to just say, cool, do what you want, and what you did is just get the fucking Pop-Tarts out and just start fucking necking them, cool. Well, like maybe Pop-Tarts shouldn't be in your life for at least 2 to 3 months, until this thing starts to become normal.
Same with alcohol.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's like, don't allow something into your life if you've got a problem with it.
Yeah.
And that's every chef that starts in Chef Fit. It's not that you have to be living like a monk for the rest of your life, but definitely for the first 3 to 4 weeks, you need to be dialed in. No booze, no bread, no fucking pasta. And then we focus on everything else, making ourselves normalize with a healthy diet. That's very sustainable and easy. And then after that, you can fucking add stuff back in. So that's the key there.
Just take away the slice of toast and give yourself an extra egg and 2 extra rashers. You've got,
there you go.
As you were saying, the best fucking breakfast you can have.
Exactly. A few spinach leaves in the mix and your Bob's your uncle and Mary is your auntie, pal.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. So guys, that is our 5 mistakes. That's the 5 pitfalls I see the most of in chefs. Listen to this again if you haven't taken in everything, because there's some really, really key things there that if you can apply it into any attempt that you make to change your lifestyle, you'll avoid falling into those pits that so many people do, and you will massively increase your chances of being successful. If you're looking for that help, obviously you can apply to join Chef Fit into our coaching program, where you're getting the coaching, the accountability, the environment, and basically having a massive amount of momentum behind you to drive you forward. If you're just looking to improve your knowledge base and potentially get a start and a baseline, you can do our 5-day challenge. That's where we're going to be talking you through your goals, your nutrition, your training, and how to change your environment, and just generally laying the foundational stuff down. So get involved with that. You can message our page. You can check out our Instagram to find links to that stuff. And if you enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up, as I said at the start. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Podbean on iTunes, 5-star review if you're listening to it there. Check yourselves before you wreck yourselves. Petey, I'll let you get to sleep, brother, all right? It's a good episode.
Peace, Cam. Yeah, big time.
Peace, love, and harmony, folks. Be good. Stay safe.